Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the hidden messages in corporate filings, and today we are looking at Alpha Cognition Incorporated's latest report. Get ready because we're about to uncover some interesting executive compensation details that might just make you rethink how these companies reward their top brass. Before we dive in, if you enjoy getting clear, concise insights from these complex documents, make sure you are subscribed and ring that notification bell. Also, join our Discord community linked in the description below for more real-time discussions. So what exactly is this document? It's a Form 8K, a current report that companies file with the SEC to announce major events that shareholders should know about. Think big news that could affect the company's stock price. Today we're looking at Alpha Cognition Incorporated, a company involved in the exciting field of cognitive health. This report is all about what happened on the 9th of January 2026, a pretty significant day for Alpha Cognition's executive team. The compensation committee of their board of directors made some big decisions about how to reward their top executives for their hard work and leadership. The main story here is about equity awards granted to their named executive officers. Now, equity awards, that sounds fancy, right? But in simple terms, it's like giving employees a stake in the company, usually through things like stock options or restricted stock units. It's a way to tie their financial success to the company's success. Let's start with the big boss, Michael McFadden, the chief executive officer. He received a substantial package of three types of awards. First, he was granted nearly 191,000 restricted stock units, or RSUs. These are like promises for future stock. They do not just get handed over all at once. Instead, they're spread out over 3 years, vesting in equal thirds on the 9th of January of 2027, 2028, and 2029. This means he has to stay with the company for these specific dates to fully earn them. It's a common way to encourage executives to stick around. Next up, he got over 177,000 stock options. Stock options give the holder the right to buy company stock at a set price in the future. If the stock price goes up above that set price, the option becomes valuable. Again, these are also not immediate. 1/3 of them vest on the 9th of January 2027, and the rest will be earned in smaller pieces every 3 months after that. This encourages continued performance. But the most interesting part for Mr. McFadden is probably the performance share units. He could earn up to nearly 76,000 of these, but it really depends on the company's stock price performance over a 2-year period. There are specific price targets. For example, if the stock price hits $12 for at least 20 days within a 30-day window, he could earn about 19,000 shares. Then there are higher targets like $18, $24, and even $28 each, having corresponding share awards. This means his reward is directly tied to the company's ability to grow its stock value, which is a pretty direct link between his performance and what shareholders experience. It's a smart move to align his interests with investors. Now let's look at Miss Lauren D'Angelo, the Chief Operating Officer. She also received a significant compensation package primarily in RSUs and stock options. She was granted over 137,000 RSUs, which vest over the same 3-year schedule as Mr. McFadden, the 9th of January 2027, 28, and 29. This shows a consistent approach to rewarding senior leadership with long-term incentives. She also received over 106,000 stock options with a similar vesting schedule, 1/3 on the 9th of January 2027, and the rest quarterly thereafter. This again is designed to keep her motivated and performing well over the coming years. Finally, we have Mr. Henry Du, who holds a dual role as Interim Chief Financial Officer and VP Finance and Accounting. He was granted over 20,000 RS with the exact same 3-year vesting timeline as the CEO and COO. This indicates a consistent philosophy for awarding equity across the executive team. He also received over 15,000 stock options with a similar vesting pattern, while his awards are smaller in number compared to the CEO and COO. This is expected given his role and the typical compensation structures in companies. This report also mentions the exhibits filed along with it. For us viewers, the most important piece is usually the financial data, but in this specific 8K filing, it focuses on these compensation details. And there is a mention of the cover page interactive data file. This is basically a machine-readable version of the report's key information, making it easier for computers and financial systems to process. The signatures at the end confirm that this report is officially being filed by Alpha Cognition Incorporated, with Michael McFadden, the CEO, signing off. It was dated the 15th of January 2026, just a few days after the grants were made, which is pretty standard practice. So what is the big picture here? Alpha Cognition Inc. is clearly investing in its leadership team by granting them significant equity awards. The structure of these awards, mostly RSUs and stock options with performance-based units for the CEO, suggests a focus on long-term growth and alignment with shareholder value. The vesting schedules are designed to retain key talent by ensuring they remain with the company to fully realize their compensation. The performance units for the CEO are particularly noteworthy as they directly link his earnings to achieving specific stock price milestones. Now, looking at this from a Warren Buffett perspective, we want to see if the company's strategy makes sense and if it is focused on creating long-term value. The decision to grant equity awards is a common and often effective way to align management and shareholder interests. It incentivizes executives to make decisions that will boost the stock price. However, the success of these awards hinges entirely on Alpha Cognition's ability to execute its business plan and achieve growth. Without strong underlying business performance, these awards are just paper promises. The success of the performance share unit specifically will be a key indicator of how well the company is performing and how much confidence the board has in its future stock appreciation. A notable risk here is that if the company's stock price doesn't perform as expected, then these awards could lose value. The performance metrics for the CEO's units are quite specific, and achieving them will require consistent positive momentum in the market. Another angle to consider is the overall compensation amount relative to the company's size and revenue. While this report doesn't detail the exact dollar value at the time of the grant, it gives us the number of units. Investors might want to do a deeper dive into the company's financial statements and proxy statements to understand the full picture of executive compensation and compare it to industry peers. In conclusion, Alpha Cognition Inc. seems to be taking a proactive approach to attracting and retaining top talent by tying compensation to performance and long-term commitment. The focus on equity awards, particularly the performance-based units for the CEO, signals a strong emphasis on shareholder value creation. The key for investors will be to watch how well the company executes its strategy and whether it can achieve the stock price targets set for its executives. Alright, that is our breakdown of Alpha Cognition Inc.'s latest filing. What is your take on these executive compensation packages, and what do they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching, see you next time.